Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday, May the 22nd. Welcome, welcome. We are going to do a little Memorial Day project today. I've got my flag earrings on for the occasion. I love all the Americana stuff. I've been seeing so many people decorating with all of their red, white, and blue. It's so fun. And honestly, I kind of do my red, white, and blue starting now and leave it up most of the summer. So all the way through the 4th of July and kind of into August. So we're going to do a little chalkboard refresh this morning, and we're going to use a template from the Scripted Faith Collective. So I'm going to show you what I've got. This is a kind of large frame here. So this was actually just a black frame. I've had it for years, probably since I was early married, and it's got like the little hanger on the back and all that. Well, I took the glass out and used chalkboard paint and turned it into a chalkboard a long time ago. And so I love to refresh this chalkboard periodically for the different seasons and put it up on my mantle. So this was actually last year's design, 4th of July. And I never really got around to changing it out for fall or Christmas or anything like that. I used other decorations. So I pulled this out the other day. Actually, it's been sitting here on this table for a while. And so I looked at it and I thought, let's do a little refresh of that. So I gave it kind of like a little shabby chic coat of paint. Again, like I said, a long time ago, because it was just an all black frame that I picked up at a home store somewhere along the way. So if you're here, say hi so I can see who's watching. Say hello to me this morning, and I would love for you to give me feedback. I'm live on YouTube and on Facebook, and so I will see comments from both places. And we're going to get going. We're going to get going. I've got the homeschool convention to get to later today. So once I get off here, I'm going to be finishing packing and then getting out the door. I'm looking forward to a weekend of refreshment and some soul care, I guess you could call it, where, as a parent, especially a homeschool parent, this time of year, you're limping to the finish line, and it's just a nice refreshment to go around, be around other parents and listen to speakers encourage you and pour into, the reasons why we parent. This particular homeschool convention is a faith-based convention, and so the speakers are Christians and speak biblical truths and things like that. So it's a great weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. But before I left, I wanted to come on and do a little Memorial Day project with you so that we could use one of our Memorial Day templates that we have in the Scripted Faith Collective. Good morning, Doris. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming back this morning. So we've got I did 2 templates for Memorial Day. So the Scripted Faith Collective launched in January. We are building it. It is a growing library. You get new templates every month. And the 2 that I did for Memorial Day this particular year is Freedom Isn't Free and Fallen But Not Forgotten. So really more specifically Memorial Day, more so than patriotic 4th of July. So I am going to go with the Freedom Isn't Free because I love the design of this one and the different styles that are there. But those were the 2 Memorial Day options in the collective, the template library. And then here's some of the other ones that were from the month of May. This one I love. I did it last week in a live for you. It says, "Let's stay home." And then we did a graduation one, but you could easily turn it into not graduation. We just have the little folded up diploma up there, but it says commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. And so the cool thing about the templates is that you can choose whether or not to use certain parts of it or move things around to fit your vision. And so they're just very customizable. Good morning, Carol. It's good to see you. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Nina. Love seeing y'all. Thank y'all for hopping on and joining me this morning. All right. So then we had a verse. This one I had Mother's Day in mind for it, but can be used as a gift for a lady. It says, a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised, Proverbs 31:30. And so that was a fun design. I saw several people who used that on some different projects, and it was really cool to see how awesome they looked and how different they looked. So I get encouraged seeing y'all use the templates and bring your own flavor to it and to see how your own creativity shines through with these. So that's that one. And then we had this one, which was kind of a little bit of a different, this was a bonus template. It says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. And so I gave it to you in a smaller scale, like if you wanted to use it as a Bible journaling page or a bookmark. And then I also gave it to you in a larger size. So if you wanted to do it on maybe a long skinny piece of wood or something like that, you could do that. So this one was a bonus. And then the I Will Praise You in the Storm one. So that is a song that I love to sing. And I just loved that. So, okay, those were the newest templates for the month of May. So let's get started. Good morning, Marisa. Good to see you. Let's get started. I've got my camera up a little higher this morning because this chalkboard is, larger than what we normally do. So I've got to first get rid of my old design. So the sad thing with chalk is that we have to say goodbye to it and we have to erase it. So I just got a washcloth and I dampened it a little bit on one corner and we're just going to wipe it clean. And I'm hoping it'll come clean. You can actually, when I do this, you're going to be able to see, maybe not, maybe camera won't pick it up, some remnants of a past design. Now I have done chalkboards since I started hand lettering, so 11 years, and I've had lots of mistakes. I've ruined chalkboards with the chalk markers. I really do not like chalk markers at all. If you choose to use them, be careful that what you're putting it on, you're okay if it stains it, because they don't really come clean like you expect that they will. It's not really chalk. It's still ink, So there's a little remnant here of something that I guess I did at one time. I don't know that you're going to be able to see it too much. Maybe as it starts to dry, you will. But what we're going to do, I'm going to let that kind of dry. I did not have a lot of water on my washcloth at all. It's just very damp. So you can already see it's starting to dry over here. But then we're going to re-season the chalkboard. And you might ask, well, why would you re-season it? It gives it a coating of chalk as kind of your background. And it's actually going to work a little bit more in your favor if you make mistakes and you erase and you had a perfectly black background. It will really show. So it kind of helps maybe take away a little bit of that. Where you can see imperfections, but you're still going to see imperfections with chalkboards anyway. It's just the nature of it. But the priming of it, I don't know. I don't really know. I just know that when you prime it, the chalk kind of goes on better. And I think it protects the chalkboard. So maybe that, like, whenever I stained these in the past, I didn't prime it. It's hard to remember back, but I know that this, like, staining right here, you can't see it, but it's part of a word and I can't even read it anymore in right here. But priming it will keep it from getting any sort of staining. It's almost like priming with your pans, you know, if you use cast iron, that you keep it oiled up and everything so that it just performs better, cooks better, keeps things from getting cooked on. I think that's kind of the meaning behind it. So, all right, so I've still got one part of my washcloth that is dry and then the other part that is damp. And that is also possibly going to play into our design. Like we might be able to do something with that. So grab your carbon paper. This is graphite paper. It is white graphite paper. I've used it several times on other projects. And you're going to place that down in the center as best as you can. And then you're going to grab your templates. And when you're a member of the Scripted Faith Collective, you get these templates. You get the link sent to you to log in, and you can go access it anytime, pull them off, print them, and you can go in the library. You can even search in the library if you're looking for something specific. You can search words. So I just want to, make sure that that looks pretty straight. And we maybe even could have blown that up a little bit bigger, taken up a little bit more room. But if we've got space around the sides, we can, decide if we want to fill it in any way. So, okay, now remember, if you have not done this before, when you're using your graphite paper, you're going to put the waxy, shiny side down. Okay, so that's a key. And then you're going to just do a little tape, something to hold it in place so it doesn't shift around while you are tracing. The other things that I have with me are my handy dandy Q-tips. I love using these things with chalkboards. And then I have my chalk. Normally I have anti-dust chalk. I might actually have it in here with me. Let's see. I have a whole bin of stuff down here that needs to be put away. Okay, so my favorite, here's my little chalk thing. Okay, these are all mostly my chalk supplies. When I went to Tennessee for my niece's graduation a couple weeks ago, I had to go out to Hobby Lobby and get a bunch of supplies because I didn't know I was going to be doing the chalkboard, or I would have brought everything. So now I've got some duplicates, but my favorite is the anti-dust chalk. Hold on, where's the anti-dust chalk? But I've never seen this sold in stores. I've always had to order it on Amazon. Oh, I forgot to prime it, Marisa. She said, what did you prime it with? Well, I forgot. I'm so glad you asked that question because here I was talking about it and then I skipped the step. So thank you. Thank you. All right. Carol said the same thing. So let's prime it. All right. We're just going to grab a regular piece of chalk. This is just like normal chalk. This is what I got at Hobby Lobby. So the anti-dust chalk, it's not that it doesn't get dusty. It's just that it is a much smoother chalk. It's hard to explain, but it's almost like writing with it feels smoother, less, I don't know, like clunky or whatever. All right, so here's what you do. You're just going to take the side of the chalk. I would have gotten all the way through that. After that whole long intro about priming it, I would have gotten all the way through it. That's why I need you. That's why I need y'all to keep me on my toes. So remember, I said this is a piece of glass that I painted with chalkboard paint. So you're going to see it's not perfectly smooth. It's not like a piece of vinyl. A lot of times now when you buy chalkboards, it's a piece of vinyl. And I don't like that. I don't like that kind of chalkboard. I really like an old school chalkboard. And so you can go to the store, probably Walmart, I know for sure, like a Home Depot and Lowe's, and you can buy chalkboard, not chalk paint, chalkboard paint, and turn anything into a chalkboard, for your wall or whatever. So Now I'm going to grab my rag again, and I'm going to grab the dry side, and then I'm just going to slightly wipe off that. And so it's kind of like a conditioner. Oh, and I got a little wet right there because with the wet side, but it just acts like a conditioner, the board, because an actual chalkboard is porous, and so it will pull in that chalk. And hey, Jennifer, you threw me off when I saw that you said hey, and I completely forgot what I was saying. Good to see you this morning. I was trying to tell them like why we prime a chalkboard, and I was like, I don't really know. I just think that it primes the surface a little bit, almost like preparing it. Okay. That's all. It really doesn't even look that different, but you can tell if you were working with a brand new chalkboard, it would be like that pretty stark black. And then when you prime it, it gives it a, grayish, cloudy look. And some people don't like that because they like that clean chalkboard look, which I understand. But I just have noticed when I don't prime it, the design is harder to erase. Okay. All right, so we're getting that back centered. Good morning, Jackie. Good to see you. Okay, Jennifer, I didn't see that you said I look beautiful today. Thank you. I put on my blue and my flag earrings so that we could do our little Memorial Day design. All right, so I've got a little tracer stylus to trace here, and we're just going to go over the design. Tracing it. Some of you may feel like, oh, this is the most tedious part. Some of you may feel like it's the most relaxing part. I don't have to think that much. Just trace. All right, so I'm getting just kind of the basic shape, but I am going to do the outsides of the thicker lines so that I just can color them in. But I know that I can thicken up the other lines easily. I don't really need to trace every single little, just want to make sure that I'm going over both sides of the thick strokes. And you don't even have to do that. That's more just if you want to know where the thick lines should be, or how thick the design has them. I have so many ideas for patriotic templates. I'm excited to do them for June. Let me lift this up and make sure that it is transferring okay. So it's very light. I might push down a little harder. I don't even know if you can see that. It's like very, very faint. So let me push down a little bit more. But I've started working on the June design, so we will definitely have some more Americana patriotic designs in the collective coming up, so we can get ready for the 4th of July. Okay, hopefully you can see those little stars there. It could be that it just is not, because it's glass, remember, it's like actual glass with chalkboard paint on it. It could be that even pressing harder isn't going to help it transfer more. I don't know. Some backgrounds take tracing better than others. Like wood, I feel like takes the trace very easily. Let me know if you can attest to that. If you've ever tried tracing something and it's maybe traced really well and you're like, oh, that looks so good. That was easy, versus maybe when it doesn't as much. So, You can always just use it as a guide. And if you need to look at the template instead and eyeball it, you can always do that. So I'm going all around these letters. I'm tracing all around. I'm not just doing the bones of it for this one because I want to make sure that I trace them correctly, you know, otherwise it just may not look as good. Go all the way around. I'm not worrying about the center embellishment in the letters because we can always do our own thing. Since this is chalk, it might be kind of hard to do those dots and lines. But we can figure out something else to do to give it a little bit of dimension and a little bit of interest. Okay, make sure we got everything. It's all there. All right, and so it's actually kind of, to me, it looks a little small. And I probably was going by the whole look of the outside, more so than I was the actual design. So like I said in the beginning, we could have blown it up. I didn't do that. And so maybe we'll add some other stars or things to the outside of it once we get it traced because it looks kind of small on there. Now let me show you my secret weapon. I figured this out with the help of some friends like Jennifer. Last weekend or 2 weeks ago when I did that chalkboard, maybe you saw it on social media for my niece. I did not want to use chalk markers, but a lot of times chalk is just hard. It's just hard to wield, you know, because it breaks and it's messy. I still love it. I used it, but what I also discovered was this, and this is the charcoal white by the General's brand. So here, I'll hold it this way. So it came in a pack with 2 black charcoal pencils, but then it had this one, the white one. So it's called charcoal white. And I used it for that graduation chalkboard, and it was like magic. It just felt so good. And I did have to sharpen it a lot. So make sure that you've got a sharpener handy. So this is just a cheap $1.50 sharpener that I got from the store. I have another one. I got 2 of them now. It doesn't have to be some people are like, oh, does it have to be a certain chalk? Why can't I think of words? Chalk sharpener. And I say, no, just regular sharpener. But I would say that you want to make sure that it's got the big holes and then the smaller holes, because obviously your chalk needs to fit in there. And then you may be able to sharpen up a little bit more with the smaller hole, but you're going to start sharpening your chalk in that larger hole. So you do want to make sure that it's got that. And it's just kind of a process. It does take it a minute. So that's another reason why I like this anti-dust chalk, because it's just a little bit softer and it can sharpen a little bit faster. So let me read your comments while I'm doing this. Good morning, Susan. It's good to see you too. What other mediums besides glass might be good to make a chalkboard out of? People, I mean, I'm sure you've seen people paint chalk on their walls. So you could do that. I have a mirror downstairs that I have planned on turning into a chalkboard. And so I know that's still glass, but you may just not think of a mirror, but I haven't done it yet. It's still a mirror. So, so if you had a mirror that you didn't really want anymore, or you found thrifting, then that might be something good. You could even do wood. Like if you had a wood sign that's framed or something like that, or canvas. I know canvas, you know, is really textured. And so that might be kind of hard with chalk. So I would definitely pick something that's on the smoother end of things. So, okay, there's my sharpened chalk. Just be really careful not to break it off in there. All right. Good morning, Roxy. Thank you. I only get to wear them a few times of the year. She said, I love your earrings. All right. So there's our sharpened chalk. And if you want to, you can, get one of these like little chalk holders. I usually don't use it unless it's getting real short and it's hard to hold. So you could use one of those if you don't want to touch the chalk. So I've got those two things. So chalk and the pencil. All right, I'm going to set that right there. And then let's go ahead and start tracing. We're going to have to revisit that sharpener several times, I am sure. And I'm going to try not to hurt your ears with the sound of chalkboard. Chalk on a chalkboard. My sister last time posted to stories writing on the chalkboard, and she goes, oh, that hurt my ears. I was like, I'm sorry. So we'll just do like little strokes there and hopefully not drive you crazy too bad. Could you show us how to apply the chalk paint to a mirror or glass frame? Well, I sure could. That could be a future project. I haven't done it in a long time either, so it would be learning. I do remember that I used a roller, like a sponge roller, to roll it on, and you just do a coat and then let it dry. So I don't know that it would be like a really fun live to watch, but I could certainly show you, maybe even in like a reel or something, so you don't have to sit and watch it dry. But I'm not coloring that in yet. You can, but I'm going to show y'all some different techniques that you can actually do. So we'll do it all at the end. So this will make you feel like a sketch artist. Just short little brush strokes, short little strokes there. Okay, come around with this. The nice thing for me, and if you're left-handed, is this General's pencil does not smudge as easily as regular chalk does. So I don't have to worry about putting my hand in it as much. Just so helpful. Let's see. Oh, Jennifer said the graduation chalkboard was amazing. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun doing that for her. Oh, y'all are so sweet. Let's see. Are there any other questions that I missed? Okay. I think I got all the questions, but if I missed yours, you can ask it again. I'll try to keep an eye on it a little bit better. Jennifer did a really fun live yesterday with her 4th of July. I got to watch that, and I love how it turned out. Her God Bless America flag. So cute. So cute. It inspired me. I felt like, okay, when I get back, I'm going to get all my 4th of July decorations up, and I think red, white, and blue Americana stuff is probably my favorite behind Christmas stuff. But I mean, it's hard because fall stuff is also very fun to put up as far as decor goes. Do you refresh your house for all the different seasons with your decor, or do you kind of just leave it mostly? I'm curious what you like to do. Or do you only maybe decorate for certain seasons? So, all right. I'm just going over this. This is nice, thin monoline. We're gonna get it all on here first and then kind of zhuzh it up a little bit more, you know? All right. My pencil's wearing down fast. I really wish that I had blown this design up and done it a little bit bigger. But we live and we learn. So now I'll know next time I do this chalkboard, I want to maybe blow it up like 125 maybe instead of print it at 100, because I think that would still fit on the 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I would say that this frame, like this chalkboard, is maybe it's 16, no, maybe not 16 by 20, 12 by 14 or something like that, maybe. Just to give you an idea of the size. Okay, so I know that that is kind of boring to watch maybe, but I've got it all traced in now. And so here, let me do the stars. And you know, with the stars, you could leave them open or color them all the way in. So the one thing that I will say with this pencil, even though it's a lot easier to use, it doesn't feel as bright maybe as chalk does. It could be the surface that I'm using, but now we can take our real chalk and we can color in those lines. So I'm going to come in here and I'm probably going to go over it too. I'm going to just, let me get the point off of it just a little bit more. Wear it down just a little bit. It's cracking on me. There we go. Okay, you see how much brighter that is? Blow it so you can see it. It's so much brighter. And you can even, it's thicker too, so it makes it a little bit more bold. Now, what you can do with your Q-tip is you can just take it, and it's dry, you can just take it and start to almost like blend it out. Blend it out. You can do the whole thing if you want to. And so this is one way that you can add some texture. So we can either color it in all the way, or we can have it half blended. Let me just go ahead and finish the that. And you'll blow it like 100 times while you're doing yours. So, all right, so then you can take it and just kind of blend parts till it looks like how you want it. Y'all like that? I'm gonna go on and do the R. I'm gonna have to sharpen it again here in just a second. Once it starts to get where you can't do a nice fine line, you're gonna need to sharpen it. All right, and then again, color down in that middle. I like kind of doing it all the way down. And then just a little light texturing of it. How are you not smearing? It looks really good. Thank you. I am, now that I'm working with the chalk, I'm just being very careful to hold my arm up so that I'm not laying it down directly on it. So it's a little bit harder. Does take a little bit more arm control. Yes, the blending is so fun, and especially if you're working with the bigger lettering. Like if I had blown it up a little bit more, I think you'd be able to see it a little bit better too. So, and you can do shadows like that, shading, all kinds of things. So just keep your point. I mean, you can see that the tip of it keeps breaking off, but keep it sharpened enough that you can have your thinner lines instead of trying to deal like, oh, it's almost like painful to watch people do chalkboards where they're just going with the flat end and they're right. It's like, oh, it could look better. All you need is a little cheap sharpener. Just takes maybe a little bit longer because you have to keep stopping, but it's worth it in my opinion. Let's see. Oh, Nina. Nina says, I'm thinking about seeking out businesses to do chalkboard signs for. Do you have a formula for charging a client? So I haven't done client work in a really long time. I mainly only charged for graphic design skills. And what I would say is that Google is your friend because you can look up and find standards around the country. Like you would probably want to decide if you want to charge, probably would be on a per project basis, but you're going to need to figure out how many hours you think it's going to take you to do it. And, think about like what you want for an hourly rate and then kind of like back into it that way. So I would look around, maybe even on Instagram, you can get friendly with somebody who does chalkboard art in their town. Somebody who's not in your town, who would be, a competitor, because sometimes people don't want to share. But like you could probably even find on their websites some idea. But comment on their posts, comment, and like their stuff and kind of strike up a little bit of an acquaintance with somebody on, I would say that, you could look on Pinterest and Instagram. And if you find some people and you start following them and liking their stuff and commenting on their stuff, then they're going to see your name and they're going to be familiar with your name. And then you can go into the DMs and you can say, hey, I'm considering starting a business and I love your work. And I wondered if you might have any advice for pricing out your things, because people who are already doing it are going to be your best source of information. And if you've spent some time on their page interacting with their content, they're going to be more, maybe not all the time, but maybe more open to sharing with you. Some people are very open and like to share everything. Some people are more closed off and don't really like to share at all. I've kind of gone through the spectrum of all the things through my business. But I will say that I definitely was more, I don't want to say friendly, that's the wrong word, but more open when somebody came in my DMs and started asking me things when they had kind of shown an interest in my page, and they weren't just like, I don't know. It's almost like someone coming off the street and knocking on your door versus someone like, when it comes to business stuff, people can kind of be weird or whatever. But definitely people who are doing things like, I know a lot of people do chalk for like Chick-fil-A's and coffee shops and that kind of stuff. So I guarantee you can search hashtags and find people who do that kind of stuff. Pause for a sip of coffee. Okay. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. And then, I just honestly find that Google is you can find such a great answers to questions now with all the AI tools and everything online. So you may find your direct answer just by Googling it. So, or 2 sips. Yes, Marisa, or 2 sips. I'm on my second cup this morning. All right, so this is a little bit simpler, just monoline, but I'm going over it because the chalk is so much brighter white than the General's pencil. And I did test it before. The General's may take just a little bit more elbow grease to remove if you're working with a chalkboard that you want to continually change. You may need like a baby wipe or something like that too. Just a little bit more work to get it off, but it did come off pretty easily. A lot easier than a chalk marker. Hate those things. They've ruined way too many of my chalkboards. All right, so I'm doing the outline of these letters. And they're butted up real close together. These letters are like squished together just a little bit. So to finish my thought, you do want a good tip on your chalk there. So yes, Carol, I think you're right. I can add some more stars. I can add some flourishes. We're gonna kind of build it out, and I think it's gonna be fine too. I think it's gonna be fine. I do want to do some shading to this word free. Since the letters are close together, it, makes it a little bit, I don't want it to look too crammed. So we'll see once we're all done. Okay, I don't know if I saw anybody answer my question if they like to change up their, oh, I missed them, a couple of them. Roxy says she decorates for all seasons in the 4th of July. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That's basically what I do too. We go summer, or we go, Christmas. I don't really do much for like winter, but then spring, and then 4th of July is summer to me, that's just what I leave up all year, and then fall. So I do I don't have a lot of back to school decorations or anything like that, but I always think those are cute. Let's see. Can you paint the back of the glass? You could do that. That's actually a really great idea. If you wanted to, Jackie said, here, I'll put your comment up. Jackie said, can you paint the back of the glass with chalkboard paint and use glass marker on the front? Yes, you could. Well, I guess you would use chalk, like a white, like if it's black. Oh, you didn't say black, you said back. So yes, you could definitely. That could just be a totally different look to it. And that's a really good idea. I love reading these. I'll have to go through and like really read them all when I get off. So Jackie also said, do you have to repaint the chalkboard paint to change the wording? No. And if you will go back and watch the replay, because I don't think you were here at the very beginning, we just wiped it off with a damp cloth because I used chalk and not a marker. Okay. So that's a really good question. No, but if you used a chalk marker or a paint pen or something like that, yes, you would have to. Something that's more permanent, you would have to. So, all right, come on, camera. Bring it back. Bring it back. I hate this thing. It's been giving me issues lately, I've noticed. Just like do a little hand dance and see if it'll refocus. It didn't do that for me for a while. It just started it. There we go. All right. So we've got a little bit of our blending in there. Just going to bring that down a little more. Okay. So for the word free, I'd like to do something similar in there. So we could go back to our generals. Like if you wanted to, you could do lines or dots or something in there, because you can get this real sharp. You could just do some of the, like the lines that I have in the template. Y'all remember what that looked like? So there's like lines and dots in that template. So we could use our sharpened pencil here and just do that. And then maybe a shadow, like kind of a little blended shadow. So just do a line and then maybe some dots. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's very small. Very small. I'm regretting not making it bigger. Oh, that sound is terrible. Don't mean to hurt your ears this morning. All right. All right, so you can see the lines and dots there. And so then we have so many different things that we can do for a shadow. We could do a line, like a drop line, or we could actually like color it in and make it shaded. And that's kind of what I want to do, I think. And then we could, well, there's other blending things. So you could even take like a Q-tip and dip it in water. And then let me show you what that looks like really fast. Okay. So I've got just a jar of water. I'm going to dip the tip of the Q-tip in there. It's pretty wet. So if it's too wet and it's dripping, then just, you know, keep your towel on hand. And I'm just going to take off some of that water. And then where I have it blended here, you can actually just come in. It's almost like erasing, but it's not going to stay bright black like that. Bright black. It's not going to stay looking like that. It's still going to dry with like that chalky residue. But this gives it almost like a little bit more of a deliberate blending. As you go, your Q-tip is going to fill up with some chalk. Okay, so you can either just wipe it off, go back into the water again, do it again. That's another way that you can do some blending. And if you need to, you can still go in and fix your edges, like put those back if you erased them a little bit. Okay? I feel like this one needs it. All right, so those are some of my little blending tricks. So I'm gonna still use the chalk. Oh, hold on, Jackie, I'm sorry. Let me take your comment back down. Where is it? All right. Okay. What would you use to erase your mistake? Okay, mistakes with chalkboards are a little bit tricky because it's going to show where you erased it. And so what you can do is like take your wet rag and wipe it off, or even like your finger. But I mean, if it's a little bit more damp, I feel like it does a little bit of a better job. And so it's going to look kind of chalky, more chalky around where you've erased it because it smudges it. So you can actually make that work with your design and just make the whole little area look smudgy and try to kind of make it all blend together so it's not as noticeable. But yeah, just, you know, the Q-tip is a great way to use eraser. Make it an eraser. I would wet it though. And so you're going to get the best result and not smear the chalk, for lack of a better word, if it's wet. So, all right, I'm just coming up underneath all the little areas and to the right. Just make sure I get all the parts. Hopefully you can tell a difference. But it's just giving it like a little bit of a drop shadow. Okay, so can y'all tell a difference? I mean, it looks pretty good. I like it. Let me darken up the stars. Oh, my chalk's getting a little blunt. Let me do some more stars too down here. So I was thinking, yeah, let's do here. We'll just add some stars around, and if it's too much, we can always erase them. You can't tell because the camera's far enough away, but that's a funny looking star because the chalk wasn't sharp enough. All right. Here we go. Like I said, you're going to blow on it a bunch of times. You know, we could also do like little starburst. Not starburst, but like the little emphasis lines like that. One time I did an open star like that, and I guess I was being like fun with them, and I was turning the stars all different ways, and I did a little design, and somebody chastised me and said that I drew a pentagram. And I was like, what does that mean? What do you mean? And she was just like, you just need to be aware that your stars are, you know, look like pentagrams. I'm like, ah. And so that kind of made me scared to draw open stars like this for a while. And I guess maybe because it was turned upside down and I didn't realize it. I don't know, but I always think about that now when I do stars. Do you isn't it funny how things that people say to you stick in your head for so long? Like years later, things that people say just can still kind of I don't know, get to you a little bit. So I didn't mean to do that. All right. Sharpen again. Going to become good friends with your pencil sharpener. I love little emphasis lines. Okay. I feel weird blowing on it. Okay. So that's fun. So we can also connect everything with some flourishes like that. Almost frame it out a little bit more. I don't like how that one's curling out. So let me erase that. So Marisa, here you go. Here we're going to do an erase. I'm just going to take my damp rag and take that one off. And then give it a second because it's wet. See what it looks like. What you could do is almost reprime that one little area, like what we did at the very beginning, and kind of just get it so that it looks blended back in again for your background, So, because, okay, this is the perfect example. I'm going to hold this up and see if you can tell. It sort of smeared it. Do you see the smear? That's what I was talking about. It's going to show your erase mark. So I'm just going to take the chalk and just go back over that like we did before when we primed it at the very beginning. And then I got my dry side. Make sure it's the dry one. And just wipe it. And that should blend it back into your background enough that it doesn't show your mistake. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Oh, y'all are being sweet. I know what you mean. Hey, Heidi, you are so welcome. I love that you love learning lettering because it has been such a fun, life-changing thing for me to learn. So that's why I enjoy teaching it. All right, I'm going to just do let's see, maybe something like that. All right, so it's just a fun little frame, but we filled out the edges since the lettering was a little bit smaller than I anticipated. And I think it makes it a little it's just celebratory and it's fun. And some people might say, well, Memorial Day isn't a celebration. It is a remembrance. It is an honoring. It is a celebration of those people who gave their lives for our country. And so anyway, I hope that this is an idea that you could incorporate into your decor. But I know it's not red, white, and blue, but it turned out really fun. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about it? Let me see if you've got any other questions or comments that I want to share. Oh, Nina's talking about washing the chalkboard in school. Yes, it does give it that look. You're exactly right. Okay, so show you there. There it is. And I'm going to go put that on my mantle with a little flag bunting banner that I have. Let's see. What are y'all saying? Oh, thank y'all. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Susan. Thanks, Roxy. It is a simple change, but it does look better, right? Because the line like was going out here and it just didn't make sense. So I kind of like giving it a framed in look. So anyway, all right, well, it's 11 and I'm going to get on the road to Orlando. Y'all can watch my stories this weekend. I'll be sharing about the homeschool convention and some of my sketch notes at the seminars that I go to. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I thank you for joining me. And if you're not already in the Scripted Faith Collective, most of the ladies in here commenting are in the Scripted Faith Collective already. But if you are not, then the link is there in the description for you to check it out so you can get access to these cool templates like what I have behind me so that you can just have fueled creativity. Not that you have your own creativity, but this is fuel to use for your creativity in so many different ways. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for chatting with me and interacting. So I will see you all back on here next week. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks for joining.